From the Pasture by Hired Hand is presented by R3 Hilltop Ranch. Located in Chilton, Texas, R3 Hilltop Ranch has been breeding registered Texas Longhorns since 2006. What began as 3 heifers has grown into our current herd, which you can explore on our website at r3hilltop.com. We're passionate about loud colors, longhorns, and docile temperaments, but it's the easy-keeping, low-maintenance traits of Texas Longhorns that initially attracted us and continue to drive our herd growth. In addition to livestock, we proudly offer certified Longhorn beef products. Visit r3hilltop.com/beef to learn more. Thank you for listening and enjoy exploring our ranch online at r3hilltop.com.
Hi there, I'm Molly.
And I'm Jaymie, and this is our From the Pasture with Hired Hand podcast.
For 15 years now, we've been proudly helping breeders promote hundreds of thousands of pedigree livestock with our easy-to-use animal management-driven website software.
And let's not forget about Hired Hand Live, where over $1 million worth of livestock is sold online each year.
We're excited to bring you market trends, sales data, advice from your fellow breeders, and stories from the ranch.
Our software makes managing your website and your animals a breeze, so you can focus on what you love.
So let us handle your digital chores while you tune in to another episode of From the Pasture with Hired Hand. Welcome back to From the Pasture with Hired Hand. Today's episode is a special one because we're sitting down with someone who's not just a fellow breeder, but a longtime friend, Stacey Schumacher of Schumacher Longhorns. We met Stacey over 20 years ago at some of the very first sales we ever attended, and today we're reminiscing about those early days while also diving into some of her expertise in social media marketing, private treaty sales, her potential hoarding problem of Longhorn sale catalogs, and the icks and loves of the Longhorn world. Stacey was one of the very first breeders to launch a Hired Hand website when we started, and year after year, her site remains one of the most visited Longhorn sites out there. We'll talk about how she keeps that traffic coming, how her marketing strategies have evolved, and of course, her famous Hey Scott social media series. But the tables also turn in this episode. Stacey flips the script and interviews us about how Hired Hand has changed over the years. So whether you're here for the marketing insights, a little Longhorn nostalgia, or just to hear some good old-fashioned stories, this is an episode you don't want to miss. Well, thank you so much for taking time to join us today, Stacey.
I've been looking forward to this. Thank you for the opportunity.
So we were wondering, do you remember exactly or how we all met?
So that is such a fun question because I think that my memories are very clear in meeting you guys at the Red McComb sale. For many years, that was, in my humble opinion, the most fun event in the industry because of the time of the year is in the spring around Cinco de Mayo. Beautiful, beautiful ranch and such a fun time. Don't you guys feel that they did a wonderful job having those parties outside?
Yes, the energy was just always, you couldn't walk around and not smile because everyone was happy and had eaten good food and had good drinks and the music was playing and the twinkle lights were up. It was just, and beautiful cows were in the pens.
Absolutely. And so that is probably my memory. I think at the time, Molly, you were pregnant with your baby, Cooper. And is he 15, 16 years old now?
He is. He's 15. So that was quite some time ago. We've been friends and customers and acquaintances for quite a long time.
Yes. And so it's so funny because I have a group picture that we took at that sale and I can't remember who took that picture, but it was great. And it was Lane Craft, I think, was in that picture. Like there was a whole bunch of folks in a line. And I thought that I looked so cute at that event. And I showed my dear friend who has recently passed, Dr. Dameron. Zach saw that picture and he said, well, look at you, Blondie. You're pregnant too. Y'all, that is the thinnest I've ever been. And I was so proud of that picture. And so now I just look at it and I think, well, there's Stacey pregnant, but I wasn't. But that was such a fun, like those events were just so fun. Definitely going to miss that.
See, it's funny you say that about that picture because I'm pretty sure now I have a horrible memory, but I'm pretty sure I was trying to hide that I was pregnant.
Well, I was like 5 years from being pregnant. So definitely that hurt my pride, but Zach was good at keeping me humble. So that's good.
Well, another memory that we have with you is I think it was a fast forward a few years to one of the Longhorn World Championships that was held at Will Rogers. And there was some, now Jaymie and I, we don't get a lot of the types of dancing that you all get in Texas. We don't get that up here. So we love watching. We love, trying to keep up. And I think we were doing some line dancing and just having fun down in the dirt arena of the LWC one year. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. And in fact, that was when Scotty O'Brien, our dear friend, worked at the TLBAA, and he had gotten a DJ for that event. And I danced so much that I ended up going into labor that weekend with Strand, who is 12 years old this year. And I went into labor a month early. So I had so much fun that I shook a baby loose. But definitely all of those things really flash back to the reason that I have had Longhorns and stayed in the Longhorn industry all these years. Definitely love the cows and they're great. But you guys have been a major part of that, is really having friendships that stand the test of time. And you get to see people have just a lot of exciting things happen in their lives, and you get to celebrate that. And so thank you guys for being part of those memories, because those are really fun ones.
Well, thank you too. I know you always build us up. You always, I think being another female in the industry, we always encourage each other a little extra. And so we appreciate that greatly about you, Stacey.
You guys are, and I always want to lift other women up, and you guys have done so much for the Longhorn industry. The creation of Hired Hand, and you guys have really changed over time to add more and more different marketing opportunities and to help make it easier to market cattle. You should get your due for that, because you guys have really been so pivotal in the Longhorn industry of taking it, in my opinion, from like a niche community, kind of a boutique type thing, to really a way that people could enter into an industry and very quickly make themselves known, whether that's through websites, whether that's through using your staff to help with marketing. All of those things have been so important to the Longhorn industry. I hope people know that it's you and Jaymie doing those things. I mean, you definitely have a staff and they're all great, but I think it's really important for people to know that it's you guys. Like, you guys have really done a lot for the industry that needs to be rewarded.
Well, thank you for that.
You mentioned websites. Do you remember the first time we talked about your website?
So looking back, it looks like my website. So it was Stacey's Longhorns, and then I got married and it was Shoemaker Cattle. But it looks like it was like August of 2004. So like 21 years ago. And I remember the process being, over the years, I feel like it's gotten a lot easier, and you guys have done more and more. But I tell you, what's been the secret? The secret has been getting more and more users, so that when you add cattle, or everything auto-populates. It used to be 21 years ago, your registry of animals with pictures just wasn't that big because there weren't that many users. And so now you're getting, 5 levels of pedigree, all with pictures, where 21, 22 years ago, it wasn't that way because they just hadn't been entered. And so more and more, it's more and more delightful and a lot easier, because those historic animals exist. And so that's been really great.
Well, we're definitely going to talk more about some of the features you use and some of the different aspects of your website coming up here in today's episode. One thing we wanted to touch on first was just kind of the evolution of your digital presence. And with one of those things, you are one of our customers who has redesigned their site at least once. Do you want to talk to us just a little bit about what made you decide to go through a redesign? And if you were going to do it again today, are there other things you would do, or are you happy since you've done that?
I always want to do more, Molly. And I think that you guys have done a very good job in making that easier for people. I went through the site redesign because I did get married. And in the past, my pink was color. I was using pink tags 22 years ago. But the site was pink. And Scott, who is colorblind, but he can see pink, he was like, man, it's a lot of pink. And I said, well, I like it. So we redesigned and did black and red. Yeah, so there was that just from an aesthetic look. I think that the way that you guys have redesigned the sites makes it super easy for end users to make those changes themselves. You guys have really trained the trainer, so thank you. But definitely trying to make it as user friendly as possible, and it's not just that way on our side; it's that way on anybody's site. Trying to make it so that people can find more quickly what they're looking for, or you can showcase whatever it is you're trying to showcase, which is really great.
Well, you mentioned Scott. When you guys got married, so you have had cows for a long time, like before you knew Scott.
Right.
When you got married, how did that change things with you and the Longhorns, or with how you did marketing or that type of thing?
Well, then I got a boss, Jaymie. I definitely wasn't able to do what I wanted. No, that's not fair. Scott has been very supportive. And so go back to the Red McComb sale we talked about. So we were just dating, and that was you guys probably met Scott at probably his first Longhorn sale. I think maybe we had gone together to no, it was definitely the Red McComb sale. But when we went, that was Scott's first Longhorn sale experience. And I'll tell you, he has Angus cattle, and we've done Angus cow sales. Nobody does cow sales the way Longhorn people do. Hard stop. And so we had gone to the Red McComb sale, and that was Scott's first experience seeing really quality cattle bring in great prices. And so that was a great event to kind of initiate him into what was possible, with quality cattle. And so we went, had fun. I think I bought a couple at that sale. And in line, this is how that sale ended. This is the last of the stories. Somebody asked me if my son was a bull rider. And I'm like, my son? So not only has somebody thought I'm pregnant, now they think my son is an adult. So whatever. But as we were standing in line, Scott was like, if you're going to do this Longhorn thing, we really are going to have to start using artificial insemination. Like, we're going to have to do what I do with my Angus cattle with your Longhorns. And so at that point, we kind of made a pact that they were going to be managed just like his commercial cows, or just like his, Angus cattle. And that approach has really paid dividends, because you're able to have a really tight calving season. You're using the best bulls in the industry, all those things to make the work a lot more doable.
So Stacey, your website is consistently in the top 10 of our most viewed websites. What do you think keeps it ranking so high year after year?
I'm going to pause, because I think that there are a lot of really great Longhorn breeders out there. I'm just going to say greatness, Jaymie. I don't know. No, I'm kidding. I would say that a comprehensive approach to marketing the Longhorns. And so when I say that, we get a lot of probably organic traffic where people are looking to find Longhorns near them, and our site pops up. But I also think that having a really strong social media presence that has a call to action that pushes people back to the website is probably what gets them there. I probably was an early adopter of Facebook marketing for our cattle. I was not an early adopter of Instagram. You guys probably do a lot of Instagram. Is Instagram good for you?
We do. We're fortunate enough to have a really great social media manager, and she's, done a lot of A/B testing, tried a lot of different things. And I'd say maybe within the past few years is where we've really seen the consistency in posting and the different pairings of imagery with different content really start to pay off.
And so tell me, thinking about that, tell folks, tell me about A/B testing.
Yeah, so if we have a campaign that we're running, so for example, let's say that our campaign is specifically sharing information about every new website that goes live. Holly, our social media manager, will, try a more intensive design versus just like a photo image paired with different ways that the content are written. So perhaps on one that has a very photoshopped look with a website on a computer screen, the content will focus more on the features of the website versus the customer's breeding strategy. And then on another that she posts, maybe it's a beautiful beautiful photo of a longhorn grazing in their pastures, and the content focuses more on how they got into cattle or a funny story they shared with us about their ranch or something. Both posts are encouraging folks to go check out this new website, but one of them is going to produce a little bit better results. And after a period of whether it be a few weeks, a few months, a certain number of posts, after comparing those two results, then she knows and is able to proceed with the one that's sending the most traffic to our customer sites.
And so for me, my call to action, so, when I'm making a post telling people what to do, has always been to push them back to the website. Like what you see, go here to see more. And so definitely that gets people involved in the site. It gets them, once they're on the site, they're scrolling to see pictures of other cattle. I love to take pictures of cows. Taking a picture of people is a lot more difficult, but I love to take pictures of cows. And so I think that it's always good to have really great pictures. I even go so far as I don't like to see pictures of cattle in the summer if it's a winter time period of the world. You know what I mean? Like in December, I want it to look like it's a winter picture on all of the profiles of the cows. That makes me crazy. But I think that anytime you're constantly updating and have new pictures for people to see, new things for them to engage with, definitely that's going to keep people coming back.
When you're out in the pasture, Stacey, and whether it be that you're maybe spending the evening with Scott, just driving through, talking about breeding.
That never happens.
Well, my question was going.
I wish our lives were like that, but they're not.
Well, when you are in the pasture and social media is on your mind, how many pictures would you say are in your camera roll, knowing that you have maybe a week's worth of social media to do?
A bunch. Like I'll probably do bursts of 5 to 10 at each moment that I'm trying to photograph. And do you remember you guys used to have those in-person training sessions? Do you remember those? Like you had one in Fort Worth, I guess, and like we came. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Hard hand on site, or I can't remember what it was called, but there was one of those that really pushed me to want to take better pictures because I saw the pictures that some of the other breeders were taking, and I'm very competitive. I hate it, but I am. And it really pushed me to want to be better. So thank you for that. But those were always really helpful. And you guys really, you hosted people to come and learn. And so that was really fun. But I determined at that point that I had to do better.
Well, not to backtrack, but since we were talking about old pictures we have from McCombs and the LWC, I also used to have in my office a picture of Jaymie and I from, I think it was the first, we called it the Hired Hand Huddle. And I don't know if you were at this one or the second one, Stacey, but do you remember our homemade Jeopardy board?
I do remember your homemade Jeopardy board. That's so funny. And so I would say that you guys have done so much traveling. I don't know how you do it. But I hope that people know that you guys have always made yourselves available. And I think that that's super important. Y'all's customer service is really like above and beyond.
Well, thank you.
Molly, you said that Instagram has been a really great tool for you guys, and you've gotten some traction on that. On Facebook, you can have a call to action where you're encouraging people to, click here to learn more, those sorts of things. On Instagram, it's a little more difficult because the link is in your bio. So people have to click to the bio, and then maybe you've got a link tree that has different ways that people can interact with you. Tell me how Instagram has helped refer people back to Hired Hand in some way.
So I'll be honest, I would have to look at our analytics to see like how many people it's referring back compared to Facebook. I don't have that data off the top of my head. But what I do think it has done is just reached a different age of breeder or a different age of potential breeder, or maybe those who have different styles that prefer Instagram over Facebook. A lot of the younger generation, I think, is just drawn towards Instagram naturally. So by posting on there consistently, whether we be sharing our own stories or our customers' stories, I think we've just reached different people that have, when combined with our Facebook audience, contributed to our overall following and growth.
Got it. Well, I think that that's great. My biggest regret, well, I have a lot of regrets, but a big regret that I have is not embracing Instagram sooner. I think Ross Ohlendorf has done an excellent job at embracing. He was probably one of the first I knew who was really posting a lot of beautiful pictures with minimal captions, just referring back to their ranch, but really beautiful cattle that if people were scrolling Instagram, it would definitely get them interested in Texas Longhorns.
I remember the first time I had heard about Instagram was through Josh Helm with Helm Cattle Company.
Oh, really?
He was making posts out there about it, and I thought, what is this new platform that he's talking about and promoting? So then when I went and checked it out, I was like, oh, this is what this is. I get it. Like, it's a good place for people to post those really great pictures that they have of longhorns or anything, that they want to post a picture about and let people know about. I think it's definitely a little bit more on the, I would say maybe artsy side than what Facebook is. But, both have their benefits when promoting your business.
Yeah. Jaymie, are you guys it was like 95% food pictures of phony?
Are you guys using TikTok?
We are, but not aggressively. So we're still this is probably not the advice I would give myself. So I'm hesitant to say it being recorded, but just a mix of, is it the right fit for us? Is it going to be around that it's worth investing the time in? Are people going to take the type of content that we're wanting to share, which is, educational, growing the breed, technical, seriously on that platform? Or are we going to put the time into the development of it and they're going to scroll past it?
Right. And so I would say for me, and I think that I don't know if I'm a target user for TikTok. I know there's a lot of wine drinking moms on TikTok, or at least that's the algorithm I have. I don't know. I think that educational, serious stuff really resonates with me. And I would say that I've done different tests to see, like, do people like jumping on the trend versus just being a subject matter expert? I see the value in subject matter expert much more. Like, trending for me is not to be funny or to do silly things. I think that's kind of off brand in what we're trying to do with the development of our brand. But I do think that there is definitely space for serious educational, you want to do this, this is how I do it.
Well, not to jump ahead in our plans a little bit, Stacey, but I feel like this is just kind of a natural place to bring this up, and then maybe we can backtrack to getting back on topic with what we were talking about. But why don't you tell our listeners who might not be aware about it, about your Hey Scott series? Because I feel like that fits everything you just said with educational, informational, yet you'll watch the video the whole way through, because you guys have found a way to keep it very interesting. And I don't know if entertaining is the right word, but you do a great job of engaging people.
Hey, well, thanks. Well, so for maybe people who don't know, you guys know Scott well enough. He's a pretty quiet guy until he gets to know folks, and then he's a lot of fun. Um, the Hey Scott video started because it's kind of annoying to me, but I have to give him his flowers. There's nothing that guy can't do, right? Like he grew up in a very traditional farming and ranching family, and you do the hard things, right? And so whether it's building a barn, whether it's pulling a calf, like all of that stuff that farming and ranching families know how to do, he knows how to do those things. Now, the annoying part, and I think all wives can understand this, is that he's so busy doing those things that, like we have things at home like leaky faucets that we need to fix. But it was very interesting to me, not being like a farming and ranching person originally. I grew up around those things, but that wasn't like my family experience, that I would ask a lot of questions. And so I figured if I wanted to know, other people would want to know too. And so it kind of started as a joke where, hey, Scott, what are you doing? And then he would tell folks what he was doing. And that seemed to really get a lot of traction. So when I think about TikTok or any of those platforms, I think that there are people who want to know how to do certain things. And if you've got somebody that doesn't make people feel bad that they don't know how to do those, this is what I'm doing, this is how you do it, I think that goes a long way and into not only building credibility, but also giving people the confidence that it's not that hard, you can do it too. We definitely want to raise the best cattle, but I'm going to say that doesn't happen overnight. Like a true breeding program takes a very long time. I mean, you can look at people like Bob Loomis. They've had cattle a really long time. Master breeders don't just pop up and buy everybody's best cows. I mean, look at the Dallas Cowboys. It doesn't create a team, right? Like you got to work at it. And so definitely we have worked to build a brand that shows that like we put in the work to get the things done. And I would say back, to Hard Hand, you guys have done that too. Molly, I don't know. Do people know that you had Longhorns before?
I think the folks in the breed who have been in it long enough to remember that or had family members who, were in it are getting fewer and fewer. So I would say that's probably not as, widely known as it was maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago.
So you were the president of the TLBT?
Yes. My senior year of high school, which I'm not going to say what year that was. But yes, my grandfather got into Texas Longhorns, and then my dad, and then me and my sister and my mom. So we would haul up our summer vacations all the way from Iowa, would be hauling a trailer down to Texas to the World Show, or getting pulled out of school to go to the Kansas City Royal, something like that. So we showed and raised Longhorns for most of my youth, and then I tried to stay involved after high school and college as well.
And so I love that, but I think that speaks to the industry knowledge maybe that you guys bring. So when you think about the Hey Scott videos, I would say that that's the goal, to say like, hey, we aren't just showing up at these sales with cattle that you can consider. You're purchasing this from somebody that has a breeding program. You're purchasing this from, somebody that has we have a real focus on herd health. And so we want people to know that we do our best to sell really healthy cattle. All of those things, I think, go a really long way. So it's kind of twofold. Number one, it was a way to introduce Scott to people, and that's kind of opened some fun doors. And we go places and people are like, hey, Scott, like that we don't know. He does not like to do those videos, or he isn't real jazzed about doing those videos. But his guys are pretty good about, like, if they see themselves doing something that's going to be kind of cool, they'll record it for me and send it to me. So that's great.
Now, I do recall at least one, and maybe there's more, but I think he turned the tables on you, and there was a Hey Stacey one when you were you on the Hill, like lobbying for cattle breeders or something? Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Yeah, so I have the opportunity to sit on a board of a member of the farm credit system called Ag Trust Farm Credit. And that has been a really fun experience because we had been customers of theirs for more than 20 years. And so serving on their board, they go and do the farm credit fly-in. And so in Washington, D.C., where they lobby for the farm bill and for different things. And so Scott thought it would be really fun to do a Hey Stacey video. And I told him that was fine, but I prefer to be the puppet master. So, and he's the puppet. So I prefer he be in front of the camera.
Oh, I think I'm wondering here soon if we're going to see a Hey Strand video pop up.
You'll see a Hey Seela video. Seela is our daughter. She's 6 and she's pretty fearless. It's that second kid that she just doesn't care. And so I think you'll see Hey Seela videos. Strand is very much Scott 2.0. And so he definitely, I've been putting him through Husband University, where he's learning to do the dish, all the things that wives want their husbands to do, the dishes, take out the trash. I mean, all the stuff, right? And so I've gotten a couple videos with him where he was in his Husband University class.
That's awesome.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Do you sometimes feel like you're the only one who doesn't have it all figured out? Rural life can be isolating, but it doesn't have to be.
Welcome to Ag's Most Okayest Farm Girls, the podcast for women who are craving connection, laughter, solidarity, camaraderie, and just overall encouragement in your everyday life and dreams.
Each week, your hosts, Annalise, that's me, and Courtney will cover topics such as farm life, mom life, making money online, side hustles, hobbies, sharing on social media, jobs off the farm, and so much more.
Us rural gals need to stick together, so saddle up for some fun, real, and unsolicited advice and stories from our everyday farm lives.
Grab a drink, we're Ag's Most Okayest Farm Girls, and we're here to help. Listen wherever you find podcasts.
Are you a new Longhorn breeder eager to educate yourself on market trends and sale prices? Stay in the loop with our text messages. Get the latest updates, events, and insider tips on all things Longhorns delivered straight to your phone.
Stay informed by texting website to 888-700-8131, then reply with Longhorns. That's website to 888-700-8131. Sign up today and take your breeding program to the next level.
Well, I'm going to try to backtrack here with my question. I feel like we got off on a little bit of a tangent, so I'm going to take a step back if that's okay. We were talking about previously how your site year after year is one of the highest ranked, and I think that's how we got into talking about social and marketing and all of that. Do you want to have any guesses on any other ranches that consistently make the top viewed sites, Stacey?
Well, that's hard because you're asking me to pick favorites. But I will say that there are certain breeders who really, they take really great pictures. They really push people, to go visit their sites. And so my guess, okay, now listen, these are some of my favorite people, but it doesn't mean they're my only favorites, okay? These are just folks that I see posting continually. I want to give a shout out to Craig Perez. I feel like his Arrowhead page, and I think you guys are still the backbone of the horn thing, aren't you, for him?
Mm-hmm. Yep. He actually is another client who just recently did an updated design. So yep, we're still.
Yes, I would think that his site has a lot of traffic because people are going there to see how their cattle measure up against others, and that has been a really cool tool. Over the years, I've really enjoyed. And I'm not going to lie, when he says that your cow, like, it's in the 90-inch club, like, how cool is that? Like, everybody wants a shout out. So good for Craig for recognizing that and pushing people to his site. I think that that's awesome. I would bet Randy Murray would be one. Randy posts a lot of really great pictures. And so I really, and he's trying new things. He does videos. Really want to recognize him. I would think Diamond B Longhorns, when you look at like quality cattle and top measurements and those sorts of things, man, they've got the best of the best. And so really want to give them a shout out. I would think Brian Brett probably has a lot. He does an excellent job and updates his pictures very regularly. Way to go, Brian. I would think Loomis Ranch. because they are so well known, I would think that people visit their site a lot. Did I get at least one right?
Those are all great websites. However, there are a few others that
Let me hear them.
also update their site a lot. One would be Strudoff Ranch. They do.
Yep.
Josie and her team and Lynn, we'll give Lynn some credit too, but they are fantastic about updating their website, and they get a ton of traffic to their site.
Mm-hmm.
Another one would be Fairly, Mike Casey.
Mm-hmm.
He gets a lot of, or did get a lot of traffic to his site when he had, I think he sold off a lot of his cows now, but he definitely got a lot of traffic. Another one would be Suzanne Torkelson.
Mm-hmm.
She does a really great job too of updating her site, and has, her website gets a lot of views every month. And then Gilliland Ranch, Mark Gilliland does a great job. And then also Buxton Longhorns, they see a lot of traffic to their website as well.
Y'all are really great breeders. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's cool that you guys can give them a shout out, and they're interacting with the website so frequently to keep them current. That's awesome.
And so one of the questions Jaymie and I get asked a lot from breeders who aren't on that list is just things that they can do, to increase their visibility, get more traffic, those sorts of things. And so, how we started on this topic, I think, was doing a refresh, things that they can keep updated, whether it just be like visually making a change, or as their herd continues to improve, making a change. But then just like we talked about with calls to action and identifying goals as well. There are a couple of things that we've noticed that have really helped newer breeders specifically. So I'm going to go over a few of those if that's okay. Promoting sale consignments in a separate section on their site. If they've reached the point in their herd growth where they're consigning to sales, that tends to get a little bit more traffic and views than some other pages, especially during this spring sale season that's busy. We also have a feature where you can use a search form. So if you're on our Wrangler or Foreman package, we have a pre-built form that you can add to any page on your site, and it allows the visitors to immediately search your entire herd by tip to tip, sales price, a certain sire, a certain dam. So that's a really underutilized feature that can easily enhance your website. And then just always making sure all of the pages are updated with content. So even if it's just an animal page, making sure that there's a content section at the top that is going to help out your SEO, talk a little bit about your breeding strategies, your bloodlines, those sorts of things. Jaymie, did you have anything else that you feel should be on that list?
Yeah, as far as like me, I can take a deep dive into SEO, that part of the website. But for that, in addition to having the content on your page, it's really helpful to use like those H1, H2, H3 tags on your site. Not only is it helpful with search engines, but it's also helpful in just kind of laying out the website a little bit more. So it's easier for people to, read the information that you have on your site. The content, the H1, H2 tags, and then also the SEO descriptions and titles and things that you have on each page on your site, but then not only the individual pages, but then the individual animal pages. They all have that information, and it's good to kind of have some of that information overlap with all three of those different sections. And then, of course, changing out pictures. Pictures is always a quick way for people to see that you've made an update to your site. And Stacey, I really like it how you have winter pictures in the winter on your website and in social, and summer pictures in the summer. I think that definitely shows people that you stay active on the site and there's always something new and changing.
Let me ask this, for somebody who is just getting started with marketing their cattle. I know that you guys work with veteran breeders as well as new folks wanting to come into the industry and really make a splash. What are you seeing in terms of what works for them right now? Is there something online that some people are doing that you think is more successful than others?
Yeah, so I think social media is great. Obviously, with Facebook specifically, there's all of the different Longhorn groups that you can ask to join and be a part of. But when you get to the point with your herd where you're able to post and promote, I think having something to link it back to is going to become really important. That way you can measure who's looking, who's clicking through, and actually see what results you're getting for your efforts. One of the biggest things that we hear from newer, smaller breeders when they come to us, and when I mean smaller breeders, I would say those with less than 15 head in their herd, maybe having started within the past year or two. One of the biggest things we hear is that they feel after having their site, or the reason they get a site is it legitimizes their program. So it shows folks that they're serious about the herd that they're growing. So I just think, plan it out and be consistent with whatever route you decide to go with marketing. And then I think another thing is get your face out there so that when you do get to the point where you're going to attend an event, or whether it's even just a small local affiliate meeting or something, folks can put a face to your name and they know who to look for and they know what program you're related to. I think that's another big thing on social is so many times the profile picture is an animal, or there's so many animal pictures that you forget to post, who the owners or who the founders are.
Well, I'll tell you, you guys have made it possible for me to never be seen by a human again. Thank you very much. With your online sale coverage, y'all, that changed the game. And I am so glad that you got in on that part of the industry early. And I feel like it's just gotten better and better and better. But that has made it possible because I love a good cow sale. I have to tell you, I love just thinking about the cadence of most auctioneers. I love the environment. I love the smell of cattle. I love walking around and chatting with people. But having little kids, it gets really hard. And I don't know how you guys have dedicated yourselves to travel so much with little kids. Now your kids are big, but it's hard. It's hard to get away. And your implementation of your online sale has been amazing.
When you use Hired Hand Live, Stacey, what's your bidding strategy?
Well, I'm usually doing laundry and washing dishes, and I have it at 100 on the volume and listening to the sale. My strategy is to watch how they act in the ring, but not always. I've tried to look at the catalog before, and I know ones that I might want to consider. My strategy is no strategy, Molly. That's what I'm saying. My strategy is no strategy. No, I know cattle that'll work for our program, and I watch for those. And if they're cattle that I think won't work, that's when I fold laundry.
Have you ever considered doing an online only sale to help manage your herd numbers? Or do you feel like because how we've talked about how successful your marketing is overall, that's just not something that you're ready for at this time?
So I've never done it for myself, but I worked with you guys to set up an online only auction for Lloyd Gibbs when he was liquidating his herd, and that worked great. The only real work that it ended up being was coordinating with the buyers after the fact. Sometimes I feel like that can get a little tricky. And so we had chosen certain dates for pickup prior to the sale. And so we tried to be really transparent so that people showed up at certain times, and those were the only opportunities for them to do that. And it worked great. But you guys are a part of that too, because your technology is there, number one. But number two, you have a big enough base that you're telling people that it's available. It's not like I worked with, there was never a question that we wouldn't use Hired Hand, because you guys have built the base within the Longhorn community that people are watching for your updates, and they're going to go where Hired Hand is. And so it worked great.
Well, that's always good to hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stacey, when you list animals for sale on your site with a price or, in a for sale category, what do you think helps them sell private treaty and get folks, to come to the ranch and pick them up or meet you somewhere to exchange them?
Fair pricing on the front end. I think marketing to get people to the site. And I think brand awareness, where people know if they're buying from us that they're going to get what's described to them. And I think it's always good to have cattle for people to choose from. So if you're constantly referring people back to your site, there's something for them to see when they get there. I think that's important.
Stacey, how often does it happen for you when somebody comes out to your ranch after they've seen an animal on your website, and then I don't want to say they get distracted, but they see other animals at your ranch as well? Does it happen a lot where, they come for the original animal, but then also leave with others?
I think so. Here's the thing, Jaymie. I am not willing to sell cattle to people that only have one. And so it's not that I won't sell them one of our animals. I absolutely will. But a lot of times we get breeders or people who are new and want to enter the longhorn industry. And so they maybe don't know a lot about cattle. And I learned a long time ago, cattle don't do well by themselves. And so before they come, I always tell them it doesn't have to be another longhorn, but it needs a friend. And so many times they're coming not only for one longhorn, they're coming for two. I just think that that's best practice. Cattle aren't going to stay at home. They're going to cause problems if they're by themselves. And so over the years, one of the things that I've done is we have a sale pasture, and all of our sale cows are in the same place. And so that way, when you go, we're not having to, because it used to be we'd have to drive around a lot. And my time got a lot shorter when I had kids, and it just gets hard. And so all of our sale cows are in one pasture. So when you go, it's like going to the toy store, everything there is available. And that's fun for them, and it's fun for me because maybe they don't like the one that they wanted to see, but they like something better. And so that works really well.
I love that you're upfront about, that they need a friend, that you don't want to sell just a single cow. I think that's a great time to take that opportunity to educate, the future breeders in the industry of what it'll be like to have longhorns. I really appreciate that you do that.
Hey, thanks. I want to talk to you guys about, as you think about marketing and those sorts of things, I love podcasts. I love a long form interview. I love people's hot takes on different things. I think the name of my podcast would be Things I'm Over because I feel like more and more I'm over everything. But can you tell me what value podcasting has maybe brought to Hired Hand or to the longhorn industry? Because you guys have really done a great job at, featuring your customers and kind of what's going in the industry.
Yeah. So we never want to take credit with growing the breed because there's so many great organizations and individuals out there that are putting in the work every day, just like you, just like us, just like the registries and there's so many great organizations that everything that we're doing collectively, I think, contributes to bringing in new people. But one thing we do hear consistently from, again, newer breeders within the past few years or with a smaller number ahead is that they enjoy listening to the podcast, specifically hearing from their fellow breeders, whether it's someone who had been in it for, 20 plus years like yourself, or maybe someone who's only been in it for 5. And some of our most popular portions of the podcasts are the sections where folks give advice. This didn't work for us. This did work for us. This is a lesson I learned. If I could go back and do it again, these are the things I would change. I think folks being able to hear that from their peers, from their fellow breeders, has just really helped almost fast forward some things that maybe, before they had the opportunity to listen or meet those people in person and ask those questions, wouldn't have moved as quickly for their, their development of their herd, if that makes sense. So I think just growing the breed, industry education, more storytelling. While we do hope that the podcast helps build our brand awareness as well and lead people back to looking at our website and our customer sites, we also do it more just to spread, the knowledge of the breed and get more people interested in the cattle by listening. Because like you said, when we were talking about Instagram, seeing a beautiful photo, that's super easy to fall in love with a Longhorn. But there's a whole group of people out there who prefer to, listen to something while they're driving or shopping or cooking, and, just trying to reach those people and share the stories behind the Longhorn breed with them as well was important to us.
One of the things I think that your podcast does is it introduces people maybe to people who they might meet in future events, but they haven't met yet. And so that's always fun. So you kind of get to know things about people. If I were new into the Longhorn world and I wanted to improve my marketing, say that I've got, a 20 cow herd and I've just launched a website with you guys, where would you suggest I start? You guys see lots of different approaches. You see lots of different breeders. For those who have been most successful kind of getting started, what would you say would be the good, like really good, say 3 first steps? What would that look like?
Yeah. So just to clarify, you're talking about someone who already has a website. So what are like the next 3 things that they would do after that?
Like they just have worked with you guys, but they don't know a lot of people. They're proud of the cattle they have, and they want people to know, like, I'm here. This is what we're doing. These are the animals I have. I'm really proud of. Tell me what you would suggest for them.
Yeah. So my recommendation would be, if they haven't already, they should create a business page for their ranch on social media, whether they just want to bite off one platform like Facebook or they want to go all in with, Instagram, TikTok, those sorts of things. But they need to have a specific ranch page, not just a personal page. And then they need to come up with a consistent plan for posting. So now, with almost any platform, you can schedule posts. So you don't really have an excuse to post a few times and disappear, but they need to get their face out there. They need to get their breeding strategy out there. They need to introduce themselves in that regard. Social media was built to be a networker, a way to network with people. So we always tell folks, don't just get an account and then sit back and watch. You have to be active and you have to be engaging. So I think that's a huge thing once they get a website, because once they kind of build that presence, then again, regardless of what platform they're on, they can start sharing those links to their animals. They can start talking about why they're excited to breed this heifer to this bull, or, why they're going to this sale in their area, or, this new purchase or this new calf, and really, get into the storytelling part of sharing their passion for the breed. I would say another thing that goes along with that is I hesitate to use the word mentor, but I don't know a better word for it, but kind of finding a mentor in the industry, or finding someone that when you feel like you have a stupid question, you can call them and they're not going to laugh at you and they're going to give you an honest answer. I feel like that's really important, because you're going to run into issues. You're going to run into things you weren't expecting, or, questions, and you need someone to help you, or, someone other than Google to give you some honest insight to that. That's 2 things. Jaymie, do you have a third?
And one thing that we do after we have all the sites live is I know we just talked about the podcast, but I've heard from several people that after they've done the podcast, they've had people reach out to them about their herd, whether it's somebody that is interested in specific breeding that they have, or just that they geographically are close to them. One person I can think of in particular would be Ross Suber. He has been a longtime client of ours for so long. And the one day that I was talking to him, because whenever somebody asks me what they can do, I always tell them, update your website. It's the best thing that you can do, because whether people find you on social media, or they find you organically, or from listening, to a podcast, or just any way that they find you, and they go back to that website, they see updated information, they know that you're serious, you're making changes, you're active, those types of things. And when I was talking to Ross, he told me, he's like, after I did that podcast, it all clicked. He said, I understand now why you are always telling me to keep the website updated. He said, because after that podcast, he had so many people reach out to him about his program that he didn't fully understand by doing the podcast what would happen after he did that. But just by getting his name out there and talking about his herd just for the brief, 30, 40 minutes that he did it. So as intimidating as it can be for some people, it's definitely, I think, beneficial for people. It's an easy way for them to get their voice out there about their own herd to a lot of people.
And I'm going to add a fourth thing, and I'm also going to do a completely selfless plug. So we are always looking for podcast guests, whether it be a new customer who we will always reach out to you when your site goes live and invite you on. But especially those breeders who have been in the industry for a while, we want to share your stories. We want to soak up your knowledge and share it with everyone. So just a selfless plug there. But one more thing that I would add to Jaymie's list is, and we just started doing this within the last year and a half, but anyone who is our website customer can put one animal per month into our internet-only sale for no additional charge, no extra fee. So we don't take a commission. We don't charge a consignment fee. The breeder themselves, when they submit their animal for sale, is able to set their starting bid, their reserve price, and a buy now price. So we try to make it very worth their while to submit animals. And that's just one more way that as a newer breeder, when you put an animal up for sale, again, like Jaymie mentioned, folks will either reach out to you because they're like, oh, you're only 2 hours from me, or I'm breeding this bloodline too. Or, it's a great extra marketing tool to have as part of your website. And we've heard from several folks that even if their animal didn't sell in the monthly sale, they sold it later because of the publicity it got, or it brought someone to their ranch to look at something else because when they were looking at their animal submitted to the sale, they came across a different animal they were interested in. And then I know Jaymie's heard some stories too of folks who went to pick up their sale animal and ended up buying more while they were at the ranch. So that's definitely something that a new breeder could do to improve their marketing as well.
Well, and you guys facilitate all of that. That's awesome. Definitely, I feel like the vision behind social media was to help people create communities and help people stay connected. And I feel like all of the things that you've talked about are ways people can get to know new people and stay connected with them. And I love that. I think that is the really great part of social media. And I think that's great. Thank you.
Well, Stacey, you do a lot beyond just running Schumacher cattle. You're involved with the Texas Coalition for Animal Protection, various foundations, the various board positions that you hold, like you've discussed. Can you just tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, it's good to stay busy. Definitely, I want to always be seen as a doer. And doers, I want to be somebody that people can count on to get a job done. And so whether that's taking pictures of cows or, managing my work, those are the things that I want to do. I feel really blessed. My job is amazing. It's a lot of work. So I founded a nonprofit that provides low-cost spay and neuter for dogs and cats. We have 8 different locations throughout North Texas. And over the years, that's gotten, busier and busier because we do a really great job. I'm really proud of the work that, our people do and take a lot of pride in the role that we serve in the community. And between that and little kids, it has limited my ability to go to Longhorn events. And so I definitely miss a lot of the really fun times after the sales and those sorts of things because you just can't do it all. But I live a really rewarding life. And I'm very thankful for the opportunity I have to make a difference because I feel like people who are animal people know animals add a lot to people's lives. And it's really great to be able to work in an industry that allows people access to care so they can, be really great pet owners. So it's great. I love it.
Well, I know we've been really thankful here. You've allowed us to work with you on some of those passion projects that you have and your quote unquote real job, as well through our graphic design services or, some social media marketing. So we really appreciate the opportunity to branch out outside of just your Longhorn herd for our marketing and services as well.
And we were actually talking about you last night at home. Scott's really at the point now, ladies, where we're probably going to be doing a bull sale, not this year, but probably next year, to market his Angus bulls and host our own production sale. And so your name came up as a way to create a sale catalog and do those things. And so tell me, I know that you guys work in different industries. Tell me, do the strategies change entering those new industries, or are they pretty much the same regardless?
Yeah, so I think the easiest way to answer that question is regarding like our websites and our software for any breed. We have a lot of great processes in place. We have a great team in place. And Jaymie and I, over the years, have made a lot of mistakes and learned a lot of lessons. But that has led us to having a super efficient and successful internal process. So between those processes and our team and our software functioning the way that it does, it really allows us to stay organized enough to give all of our customers, regardless of the breed they're affiliated with, the attention that they need. And they're able to do so much on their own through their websites and software that when they do need us to do something, whether it be graphic design or social media marketing or SEO, we have the capabilities to do that because of the lessons we've learned over the years.
Yeah. Well, I know that anytime here at TCAP, I've needed additional hands in marketing or like different kinds of designs, whatever. You guys have been there and you've done an amazing job. Your staff is awesome. They're super, super responsive and just have really great turnaround time. And so I'm very thankful for how you guys have helped not only with my Longhorn stuff, but also with my work stuff as well. I can't say enough good things about you guys have really jumped in when we've needed help.
And now let's hear from our advertisers.
Looking for top quality Longhorns and a taste of true Texas spirit? Look no further than Cantera Cattle Company. Our passion for Longhorns shines at Old Gringo Ranch, where tradition meets excellence. Visit us online at CanteraCattleCompany.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for the latest updates and ranch life fun. Ready to experience it yourself? Schedule your visit by emailing canteracattle@gmail.com. Remember, God is great, Longhorns are good, and life is crazy.
Overwhelmed with your digital chores? Let us lend a hand. From websites and animal management to internet auctions, graphic design, marketing, search engine optimization, and more, Hired Hand Software is your hired hand for all things digital.
Specializing in pedigree, livestock breeds, and beyond, we handle the tech so you can focus on the animals you love. Visit hiredhandsoftware.com today, where your digital chores just got a whole lot easier.
In the interim, we talked about Scott having a bull sale. Say that next year he doesn't want to have an in-person sale. Say we wanted to do a hired hand online sale. Tell me how I would set that up with you guys.
So what happens when somebody comes to us and they want to have an online only sale is we have a couple of forms that we ask them to fill out. One with just basic information about the sale. But then two, the other form is the information about the animals. And with that, they can provide pictures, they can provide videos, any breeding, any updated measurements. I mean, anything about the animal that they want. We'll take that and we'll get all that information up on our online bidding platform as well as our other Hired Hand Live site so people can, click to view more about the animals, whether it's their pedigree or their progeny, that type of thing. During the sale, we help answer any questions that come in about the animals, whether it's about the location of the animals, the hauling, payment, that type of thing. Once the sale has concluded, then we send invoices to the host of the sale, but then also to the buyers so they can contact get in contact with each other to arrange that hauling and the payment for the animals that they purchased during the sale. I would say one of the most helpful things for people when they're doing an online sale is to have haulers lined up that are willing to take the animals places after the sale is concluded. If people know that while the sale is going on, it helps out tremendously with their comfort in bidding that they can pick the animal up when the buyer needs them gone from their ranch.
And one thing that I would add too is we've had folks come to us who only want their sale to be one day. Maybe they want it to be on a Saturday and folks can bid between, the hours of 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. Or we've had folks come to us and say, I want my sale to run from a Wednesday through a Sunday. And we've had other folks who say, I'm going to have an auctioneer on the phone and I'm going to have internet bidding. There's not going to be anything in person. So there's several different ways that you could have an internet auction to suit your needs. And we're able to help you coordinate all of those.
Which of the online sale options overall, what do you think customers have, I'm talking about the sellers, what have they found best? What have they had the most favorable, or what have you had the most favorable response to in all the different online sale options you have?
I would say our most popular option is to have the sale for three-ish days. I can also tell you that the history of how people bid is typically it's either right away when the sale is launched, or most likely it's people waiting until that very last day to bid. While it's helpful to have it out there for people to, see the animals, do their research, that type of thing, most of the bidding is done on that last day. And we've even had some sales who do only host a one-day sale, and they are very good about promoting it. In addition to how we promote the sale, they are also out there promoting the sale on social media, and sometimes they'll send out additional e-blasts or text messages, that type of thing with us. And we've seen those sales are very successful as well, just being the one day. Within a specific time frame. Usually it's about 12 hours is what they choose to do. So either of those have been really successful. And actually Molly, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the very first sale that we had where everyone was at home, cows were at home, and it was the auctioneer was at his home, and the pedigree breeder was with him, was at the Blue Ridge sale. And I think that was the April of 2020. That was the very first time we ever did that. It was fun. It was really stressful, and it worked. And since then, we have had a few other sales that have chose to go that route as well. So it's always fun, added little twist to have the auctioneer present when everyone's at home.
I think even no matter what format they choose in terms of our services towards it, things that contribute to it always being successful for the seller as well are good photos or videos. No one wants to look at 6-month-old photos of an animal that they are considering buying. Reasonable starting bids. And I know folks at home can't see the reserves, but a lot of times we've seen animals not sell because of $100 or $50, and then the seller, wants to add that animal to the sold list after. And so just setting reasonable starting prices, reasonable reserves, try not to be emotional about it, make the decisions financially, not emotionally. Those two things definitely help. And then one question we get asked a lot is, how fast could you have a sale up? I think, Jaymie, correct me if I'm wrong, but we usually tell people we like at least 3 weeks, but I know that we've had sales up and happen in shorter than that. But if you can give yourself sufficient time to get in front of folks, faces, especially during busy live sale season, when you're competing with those animals as well, the more time that you can have to market your sale, the better.
And tell me, I know that I get the text messages that you guys send out. I also get e-blast. Tell me, what methods do you guys have to offer your customers to reach the industry?
Yeah, so those two you listed are probably the biggest ones in terms of when they want to share their own information. Our text messages have great success. Our e-blasts have great open rates when you compare them to, industry standards. So both of those are great tools that folks can tap into. An underutilized tool that not a lot of folks know about that we offer is we have a page on our website called Hired Hand Search. And anyone can go there. And again, similar to our search form we talked about earlier, they can search by sire, dam, certain bloodlines. They can search by state, tip to tip, sale price. And any animal on any Hired Hand website will show up as long as it meets those parameters. So it's a great excuse to have your cattle priced on your website. It's a great excuse to have it updated with tip-to-tip measurements because when that page gets traffic and folks are looking for certain bloodlines or certain prices in certain states, that's just one more way that we're trying to help our customers reach new people as well.
I love the hired hand search feature. I think what I could do that I have not done, I'll tell on myself, is I do not have the cattle that I want. Because building a program, if you trade your cows all the time, it makes it really hard to have consistency in your breeding, and like your calving seasons it just gets hard. And so I only price the cattle that I really want to sell. And so I know, and I've had a lot of people reach out for cattle that I don't want to sell. And I know that I could do better at that. But if I price them, you'll buy them. And I don't want to sell them. So I definitely see how that is something that I should do that I don't.
What are some of the other features of our software that you enjoy and find success employing on your website?
Well, I am not a technological genius. I know that will shock some, but I'm not. And so definitely the ease of use is huge for me. I think that it makes creating, this is my testimonial for you guys. Hired Hand makes managing my herd a breeze. You can easily update things to keep it very current, but you don't have to be tech savvy. And to me, if this is a hobby for folks, this is, something that they're really jazzed about doing, it needs to be easy or it becomes work. And it is work. I mean, it is effort. How's that? It's effort to update those things, but it's not hard work. And I think that allows people to create a presence much more quickly and to keep their site current and engaging so people want to visit and see what they've got going on.
Stacey, when you update your site, are you updating it just as you have updates, or do you designate a specific time every week to sit down and make those updates so that things do stay current?
So I would say yes to both, Jaymie. I'm like today, really calving season for our spring cows should start. And so during calving season in the spring and in the fall, I'm updating it every time I have a calf. And so I'm in there making sure that, all of the breedings are current and those sorts of things. Anytime we're adding a bull to a herd or pulling a bull from a herd, I'm using the bulk feature tool or whatever. That really was a game changer. But while you're out there taking pictures of baby calves, you should be taking pictures of mamas too. And so there will be some updates on those as well. But usually I'm on calf search.
And after you make those updates, do you then post to social media immediately to let people know, or do you have that all scheduled out ahead of time? And
it's scheduled ahead of time.
Okay.
I'm not doing typically not more than one post a day.
Have you used our pedigree simulator tool that we brought back out of retirement at all?
No, I have seen that, but no. Tell me about it.
So back when we first started, we had a tool and we thought it was going to be the most popular thing ever, and it was called a pedigree simulator. So folks could essentially choose the sire and dam from drop downs, and it would build the whole pedigree for them so they can kind of visualize the bloodlines that would be, in the calf, and then, kind of project out if there was a lot of that combination already out there and stuff. And no one, Jaymie, correct me if I'm wrong, but no one but Brian Bright used it.
There was very, very few people. beyond Brian Brett. Yes.
Yes. So we made the decision to retire it. We have different features if they're not used that we'll retire, just to not have to continue updating them. And then I would say, maybe 5 years ago or so, we had folks that were like, well, what if this happened or this happened? And Jaymie and I kind of looked at each other and we're like, okay, it's time to turn this back on. Folks are ready for it.
Well, I think that's awesome, but I have not used it. No. So now I'm gonna get off this podcast now, and I'm gonna go do it. Call me at 12 o'clock at night. I'll be simulating pedigrees.
What about our SEO sections? Do you update those at all while you're in there adding new pictures or new cats?
Yes, I do. And so I think that now I'm not a technological genius, but in one of your hired hand, what did you guys call that? Huddles. I wanted to call it a summit because it seemed more serious than a huddle.
We had to stick with the H theme, I think we thought.
Yeah, well, you guys did a really good job of driving that home. Do you guys have certain keywords that you recommend people use?
Usually what we tell people is it's specific to, like, your cows best. So it's specific to your herd and whatever you think people are looking for in your herd. So it may not be a specific name, but it may be, a 2-year-old with a specific measurement or a certain color, that type of thing. That's usually not the answer that they're looking to hear, but it really is specific to your breeding program, your goal with your SEO, whether it's to draw attention or whether it's to make sales. So it's usually very specific to what you're doing. However, we do also recommend that whenever you put the word Texas Longhorn, you usually associate whether it's cattle, cow, bulls, something like that after it, so that it's not mistaken for the university.
Got it. And you guys offer that as an additional service to folks to help them with that, don't you?
Yep. We initially, when a website goes live, we go in and we fill out the SEO information for the homepage, about page, like those types of pages, and then the overall like cow and bull page. But we leave the SEO for the animals up to the breeder. I know it's probably one of the last thing that's on their list of things to do because it is kind of tedious and maybe even boring, but it is so helpful for websites when they have that information filled out. It's what search engines read along with the content on the page, but they really read that SEO information, and it's really helpful when people are searching for, again, 2-year-olds with a certain measurement or animals within a certain area within the U.S.
And if folks want more assistance than what is within our software can offer, we do help with that. But it's been one of the trickier parts because, as you know, Stacey, from how hard you've had to work at it, there's no guarantee that you'll see the results that you want. So it's really hard to set a budget for search engine optimization. And then, we have folks who think, well, if I do this, this, or this, I'll automatically get to number one. Well, you might get to number one for folks who are searching like in your area or searching, a very specific term that you've targeted, but you're probably not going to be number one overall like you think that you are. And so, although we're happy to assist with those additional services, it's hard because we never want to feel as though we've let someone down by maybe not being able to, manipulate Google search results in the way that they hoped.
Right.
For those that listen to our podcast, we always wrap up with some rapid fire questions. So are you up for a few, Stacey? And then I suppose maybe we'll let you turn the tables on us for a few.
So I have my running shoes on. Let's go.
All right. Best or worst marketing advice you've ever received?
That one's hard, y'all. Do you ask everybody that?
No, we did these special for you.
Oh, nice. I was going to say, what do they say? And then I'll say, yeah, that sounds good. The best advice. I want to go with the best advice I've ever received. And I think it goes to authenticity. I think on social media, I think as a people, we crave connection. And I think we crave pretty things, but we more crave things that we can judge as authentic. And so years ago, and I can't remember, it was probably some TED Talk that I watched. It talked about how to be more authentic in your social media presence. And I think that definitely resonated with me. And so when I think about the social media that I personally want to see, that I want to engage with, or whether it's a website, whatever, definitely it's going to be authentic.
Okay, the next one is, what's a cattle marketing trend you think is overrated?
I'm going to make some people mad on this one. Are y'all ready? Grab your popcorn. Grab your popcorn. Here we go. Y'all, the whole true black thing, I don't get it. I see a lot of people with black and white calves, and they're saying like, it's a true black calf. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? That it was born black versus blackish brown? You know how many Angus cows are born blackish brown, but they're black? Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't know. Are we saying that they're like they're only going to have black babies? Because there's a test for that. I don't get it. I don't understand that marketing trend.
You know,
Hard
it's
stop.
funny. It's funny you talk about that in the podcast that I recently did with Chase about the legacy sale. One of my questions to him was to pick a true black animal out of the legacy sale. And his question back to me is what even is true black? He's like, I've had Joe explain it. Joe Sedlacek explain it to him. He said in Titan Pace, he's like, I just don't get it. So you're not alone.
Like we're not testing them for like a black only gene, and that's what they're going to sire, right? And listen, I've used it because I'm like, well, I mean, if that means something to people in the industry, some of these calves are really born like coal black versus blackish brown, and they turn black. But I don't know. I can give my phone number to folks, and they can call me and tell me what it means, but I don't get it. So Chase, I'm gonna have to go hug his neck and be like, we were separated at birth. I don't get it either.
Yes.
If you had to pick one social media trend that you wish would disappear forever, what would it be?
Man, that's harsh, Molly. That's like,
I feel like it probably also changes week by week, probably.
I want it vanished. I don't like hokey. I got to tell you, I don't like hokey. And so if I come across some sort of content creator that I think makes fun, like I like funny. I don't like hokey. Do y'all understand the difference?
Yeah.
Like I don't like hokey. And so when somebody comes across not funny, but like hokey to me, I'm over it. Like immediately I'm done with them. They're dead to me. Don't be hokey.
I think it probably goes back to your just being authentic, because maybe
yeah. And so when I feel like people like I think I see it more on TikTok. You know, it's not like the YouTube thing where people are doing like silly challenges. It's not like that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like hokey, like where golly gee, friends, my head will pop off. I can't do it. I cannot do it. So if I could have anything disappear immediately, that's what it would be. Can I ask y'all some questions? Now that I've completely made everybody that listens to your podcast mad, here's your opportunity. No. Okay. I'm thinking about websites and marketing. Okay, because that's kind of what we've talked about. What is something you wish breeders understood about digital marketing and websites?
So my answer would be the old adage of if you build it, they will come. Like disproving that basically. So many people think, oh, I'm going to get a website and the next day I'm going to make a sale and, it's going to be wonderful. Well, the website does a lot. SEO does a lot, like we talked, but you still have to work at it. You still have to promote it and market it. So it's the whole, it's not going to happen immediately. It's going to take patience. It's going to take hard work.
Jaymie, you got anything?
No, I couldn't agree more with that. I just feel like a broken record, but I'm constantly telling people you have to update your website. You have to keep it current. Because again, it's the whole Field of Dreams quote, if you build it, they will come. It doesn't happen overnight. Or if it does, it's like 1 in a million chance that it's going to happen overnight. There's just work like anything that you have to put into it.
Do y'all remember years ago, that reminds me of a story. Do you remember when Dr. Kropp used to have those breeding seminars? Did y'all ever go to those? He would have them like the one I went to was at the West Auction House. Did y'all ever go to those?
I don't think I ever went to that one, but he was giving those back when I was in the TLBT. So he would like come and talk to the youth as like the future of the industry about different, very similar things. I have a feeling as to what you're about to explain.
And so he would talk about that thing, Jaymie. He would talk about you can raise the best cattle in the world, but if people don't know you have them, they're not going to come to your house. Like you've got to do the work, like to create the cattle, to raise the cattle. Y'all vaccinate your cattle, like all those things, right? Keep current measurements, all the things, have a breeding season. But then if you've done all of those things, the cattle still aren't going to sell themselves. Like people still aren't going to know who you are. You've got to do the work. So I love that. What is one thing, both of you, this is to you, that you see successful breeders doing that other people should try?
I feel like we should do a drum roll. Ready? I'll do the drum roll. Jaymie, you give the answer.
Right? Update your website. No. I think one thing, and we talked about Brian Brett a few times in this podcast, but one other thing, I think Brian has done a great job with his site, with his herd, with everything like that. But Brian is also very good at numbers. He enjoys numbers, but he is very meticulous about what he posts and then tracking how that post did or that page did or that animal did from that post on his website. So I think it's kind of comes full circle with updating your website, but then also looking to see if, because I did this or I did this, how did that perform? And if it didn't work out like he was or you were expecting, then kind of pivot and, make a change and try to post something different.
And I'll kind of piggyback off that with this, like part of my answer is the same, but it's a little bit different. So obviously, again, updating your website, but it goes back to what Stacey's talked about a little bit too with being authentic. I think Brian, as another example, does a great job. He has some pages on his website that I think some folks have actually started to copy because they're so popular now, like with the reference sires and the different bloodlines that he's using and stuff. But if you can find a way, even if it's just one page or one paragraph or something on your homepage to be different and to be authentic, I think that's going to help contribute to your success in the long run.
So I'm looking now, as you guys are talking, I'm looking at his reference page. And yeah, I could see how that would be helpful. Yeah, I don't do that. So thanks, Brian. I'm going to be doing that tonight. Let me ask this. I know that the world in marketing, in just advertising and building a brand, all those things are changing and evolving very quickly. What do you guys think? How do you think that cattle marketing is going to change in the next 5 to 10 years?
Okay, now it's probably my turn. I'm probably going to get some hate for this one, but I'm going to be honest with my answer. I think, or kind of hope, that maybe folks will finally concede to just like walking around with an iPad versus having to hold a printed sale catalog. I don't know.
I don't love it.
You don't love it? You like the printed catalog, Stacey?
I don't love it. I like to touch it. And let me tell y'all, so this is like, I am not a hoarder at all. I feel like I feel like my house is my house is picked up. Is it organized? I got 2 little kids, like stuff's everywhere, but it's organized, sort of. Y'all, I kept every Longhorn magazine and every sale catalog I had ever gotten.
Wow.
That was like my collection.
You still to this day have all them?
No, we built a new house and moved last year. And when we were getting ready to move, my dear husband was like, "What is this crap, Stacey? When was the last time you ever opened this? Get rid of this." So that said, I love a printed catalog, but Molly, you're absolutely right. It can be updated more quickly. It can be more engaging. You can click to see a video. I can engage with it versus holding it in my hand.
Yes. So I don't know, I don't know if those feelings come because we're in the thick of sale catalog season right now. And
yeah,
Every year I get stressed about them, but Stacey, my dad was the same way. We had Rubbermaid tub after Rubbermaid tub in our basement of all the Trails magazines and the journals from when they were in its original publication. And I very much see the value in those. Like, don't get me wrong, like the printed magazines that come in the mail, awesome. It's just, I think it's the sale catalogs, and with our role being primarily with the internet and updating folks' animal info up until the Tuesday of the week before the sale, it's just how quickly they become dated, just stresses me out, I guess.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And I think that it makes us better citizens of the world, like all the paper, like all the things. That just is going to be a change. But I think you're absolutely right. Jaymie, do you have something?
Yeah, one of the other things that we offer to people is we have if you have an update for your animal that's in a sale, whether it's at a public auction, we're to be there with online, or whether it's at, the online sales that we talked about, or even our monthly sales that we have a form for people to fill out so that if they have a new measurement or an updated breeding, anything updated about the sale animal, they can send in that form, and then we update that information on our bidding platform. So 9 times out of 10, the information that is already out there on the bidding platform is updated from the sale catalog, and that includes pictures as well. So just another thing.
Well, and it helps me, for instance, bidding from home. Like if I'm watching a sale, a lot of times I have a screaming kid at the very moment that Chase or Dale used to say how bred the cow is, for instance, or what the measurement is. And if the owner has updated it through you guys, I can see that. And then I don't have to message asking, hey, I just missed that. Can you give me an update on that? So I love that.
Well, I feel like we covered a lot of ground today. Is there anything, Stacey, that we haven't talked about with Schumacher cattle that you want to share with our listeners, or just anything in general we didn't cover?
Well, I want to say thank you for the opportunity to chat with you guys. It's always fun to pick the brains of experts. And I just want people maybe who are new to the industry or new to the Longhorn family to know that Jaymie and Molly have been around literally for decades. They know what they're talking about. And you guys have really done such an amazing thing in the Longhorn world to take what many of us see as a hobby and really create legitimacy and create a way that we can easily market our cattle. And so I hope that you're proud of that. I want people to know that you guys are the owners. You guys are the developers. Y'all do it. And I'm so proud to call you friends. I'm so glad to know you, and just really appreciate over the years, not only the friendship, but the expertise that you guys have given me in the Longhorn industry, but then also in my work as well. I just really, really thankful for you guys. People can follow us wherever they follow anybody else. We're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on Facebook. Try to keep things current, try to keep things new and fresh, and always be a source of information is one of the things that I always want to do is, listen, I don't know the answer, but I can find the answer, and try to be seen as like a serious breeder in the Longhorn industry. Those are our marketing goals. What we're trying to do is, welcome people to the Longhorn family and really be a friend.
Well, back at you with all the kind words. That means a lot. And we thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to join us.
Thanks, ladies.
And that's a wrap on today's episode with our good friend Stacey Schumacher of Schumacher Longhorns. We covered a little bit of everything: marketing, private treaty sales, and the power of a good website. A huge thank you to Stacey for sharing her time, insights, and even flipping the script to put Jaymie and I in the hot seat for a bit. If you're not already following along, be sure to check out her Hey Scott series on social media for a fun peek behind the scenes at Schumacher Longhorns and their other breeding programs. If you're looking to revamp your own marketing or website strategy, take a few notes from Stacey. She's doing something right. As always, thank you for listening to From the Pasture with Hired Hand. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your fellow breeders. We'll catch you next time.